we've all been there, haven't we? You're setting up your dream home theater, maybe a new conference room, or, just trying to get your gaming console hooked up to that big screen across the room. You get the perfect 4K TV, a really powerful source device, and then bam, you hit this snag, the HDMI cable. It's not long enough. So you try a longer one, and suddenly you're dealing with flickering images, maybe annoying audio dropouts, sometimes just nothing. No signal at all. It really feels like your cutting edge tech is, I don't know, stuck somehow.
Yeah.
So today, we're doing a deep dive. We're going into the world of extending high-definition audio and video. And we're focusing specifically on a technology that, well, it promises to make those long-distance connections totally seamless and, frankly, stunning, HDBaseT. Our sources for this, they come from product info about a specific device, a WolfPack 4K 60Hz HDMI extender over HDBaseT. That gives us something concrete to look at, and our mission today is pretty clear. Figure out how these extenders actually beat those distance limits, what makes HDBaseT so special, and what it all means for you, whether you're trying to perfect that home cinema or tackle a really complex installation in, say, a large venue.
Yeah, and I think you're going to come away from this really getting not just what HDBaseT does, but more importantly, why it's become such a pivotal piece of tech. We'll dig into how it's changing the game for clear, uncompressed video, how it simplifies setups that used to be, well, frankly, a nightmare, and the crucial bits you need to know to actually use it effectively. Think of it as your shortcut to beating any HDMI distance problem.
Okay, so let's zoom back in on that initial frustration. You've got the beautiful 4K TV or maybe a projector. Your high-end source could be a Blu-ray player, high-end PC, whatever. You know exactly where you want things. But then, the laws of physics, or at least HDMI cables, kind of bring you back down to earth. Standard HDMI is great for short runs, right? Maybe 15, 20 feet.
Absolutely.
But push them much further, especially with those high bandwidth signals like 4K 60 hertz, and you're just asking for trouble. Signal degradation, dropouts, maybe even a totally black screen. It's a common bottleneck, really. It forces compromises.
Exactly. I mean, the fundamental issue with traditional HDMI cables is they're designed for pretty short point-to-point stuff. When you push those high bandwidth digital signals over longer copper wires, the signal it weakens, attenuates, and that leads to all those problems you mentioned. The data integrity just gets messed up. Historically, extending these signals meant, well, either really bulky, expensive fiber optic cables or sometimes less reliable extenders that often compress the signal. So the core question has always been, how do you push this demanding signal further without losing quality, without adding noticeable lag, or making the whole installation ridiculously complex and costly?
Right. And that's exactly where HDBaseT just walks in with a totally different playbook.
Yeah.
Our source material, focusing on that WolfPack extender, it really highlights this. This isn't just some simple signal booster. It's like a fundamental rethink of how we move HD signals around.
What's truly groundbreaking about HDBaseT, the technology itself, is its core philosophy. It's designed for no compression, no losses, and no latency. Over HDMI signal transmission, even across pretty significant distances, just think about that for a sec, uncompressed 4K video, bit-perfect audio, control signals all traveling together.
How does it do that?
Well, it essentially repackages the HDMI data and then sends it over a single Cat6a KT7 cable.
Wait, like the network cable from my internet?
Exactly, the same kind of cable. And that's huge because, unlike a lot of other HD distribution tech, HDBaseT can often leverage existing Ethernet infrastructure. Imagine not having to pull new, specialized, expensive cables through walls, especially in older buildings or big commercial spaces. That's a massive saving in cost and hassle.
Okay, so using that standard network cable, what kind of distances are we actually talking about? Because that's usually the big decider for people, right?
Absolutely. That's the key question. With an extender like this WolfPack 1, the numbers are, well, they're pretty impressive. For a full 1080p signal, especially at that top quality 4.4.4 color space, you can push that signal up to 230 feet. That's about 70 meters.
Hold on, you said 4.4.4 color space? For someone maybe not super deep in video tech, what does that actually mean for the picture they're seeing?
Yeah, great question. So in simple terms, 4.4.4 color means every single pixel gets its own full, distinct color information. No shortcuts. This is the absolute highest fidelity. It's really crucial where color accuracy is like #1 priority. Think video editing, graphic design, medical imaging, that sort of thing. It ensures no subtle color details get lost. Now, if you're stepping up to the higher resolution 4K 60 Hz video, the extender can still push that signal, usually what's called 4.2.0 color space, up to 110 feet or 35 meters.
Okay.
Or if you really want that full 4.4.4 color, even in 4K resolution, it supports 4K 30 Hz over that same 110-foot distance.
And what's the difference then with 4.2.0? Is that a big quality drop for most people watching movies or something?
Not really, not for typical viewing. 4.2.0 basically means the color information is sampled a bit less densely than the brightness. It's sort of shared across small groups of pixels instead of one-to-one. Technically, yes, it's a reduction from 4.4.4, but honestly, for most video content, movies, TV, streaming, it's virtually imperceptible to our eyes. Most 4K stuff you watch is probably 4.2.0 anyway. The key takeaway here is that HDBaseT gives you these pro-level distances while keeping that really high-def quality. It's way beyond what any standard passive HDMI cable could ever manage.
Right. Now, one of the absolute biggest headaches, I think, with long-distance video is latency, that annoying delay, right, between sound and picture. It might start subtle, like a slight echo, but it quickly becomes super distracting. Imagine trying to watch a live concert and the audio is just that tiny fraction of a second behind the musician's fingers moving. It completely pulls you out of it.
Oh, it's critical, because even a few milliseconds of delay can just ruin the experience, especially for live stuff or anything interactive. And what makes HDBaseT so compelling here is its commitment to virtually zero latency. Our source specifically mentions HDTV Supply's version, saying it adds less than 7 microseconds.
Microsecond.
Yeah, that's 0.0000007 seconds. Over a 220-foot run, at 100 feet, it drops even lower to 3 microseconds. I mean, it's faster than your brain can even process.
So for all practical purposes, it's instant, like actually instant.
Exactly, immediate. And this near-instant transmission is absolutely essential in professional settings. Think about a big church or a concert hall, an auditorium. You might have multiple screens, projectors hundreds of feet from the stage. With HDBaseT, the speaker's lips on screen are perfectly, absolutely synchronized with the sound on every single display, no matter how far away. No awkward lag, no disconnect for the audience. That kind of precision is just invaluable.
Okay, beyond just the amazing video and audio, HDBaseT packs in some really clever features that make the whole installation easier. Let's talk about power over cable, or POC. Sounds almost like science fiction, right? Powering devices without a separate plug.
It sounds fancy, but the beauty of POC is really its elegant simplicity. It lets you power only one side, either the TX transmitter or the RX receiver, which means you do not need to install a power outlet at the device location. Think about mounting a projector on the ceiling or putting a display way down a long hallway on a distant wall. Normally, you'd need power, video, maybe control cables. With POC, that single CAC cable carries both the video and the necessary power. It dramatically simplifies the wiring, cuts down cable clutter, and often saves you the cost and hassle of getting an electrician to put in new outlets in tricky spots. It's a huge convenience, makes setups much cleaner, more flexible.
That really does make a huge difference in how complex an installation is. But what about controlling everything? Our sources also mention bidirectional IR and RS-232 serial control signal transmission. These sound pretty technical, but what do they actually mean for someone who just wants their stuff to work together easily?
Right. These are basically your command pathways. They let different bits of kit talk to each other over that same single CAT cable. So bidirectional IR, that's infrared, like your standard remote control signals. The clever bit is the bidirectional part. It means you can, say, send commands from a central control system to the TV, maybe turn it on, as well as simultaneously control your Blu-ray player or cable box from the TV location using your normal remote. It works both ways. Perfect for simpler setups, maybe one main TV and a few sources nearby.
Okay, that makes sense for typical home use. What about the RS-232?
So RS-232 serial control is, let's say, a more robust, professional-grade way to control things. It's used for more complex integrated systems. These ports let you control professional gear, like a projector or TV from the source end, maybe from a central control panel or automation system. It integrates smoothly with popular control systems you might find in smart homes or boardrooms, things like Control4, Savant, and Crestron.
Yeah.
So effectively, that one CAT cable becomes this universal pipe, not just for amazing video and audio, but for all the power and control signals you need to. It's really a complete package.
And then there's CEC, Consumer Electronic Control. A lot of us have probably seen that listed on our TV specs, sometimes with brand names like Samsung's AnyNet Plus or Sony's Bravia Sync. What exactly is this and why would you want it?
Yeah, CEC is all about making your life easier, basically. Simplifying the user experience, making your system feel more integrated. It allows your HDTV's remote to manage up to 10 devices that are connected via HDMI with no special programming needed. So instead of juggling like 5 different remotes, you might be able to use just your TV remote for basic commands on other connected devices.
Hmm.
For instance, you could potentially turn on your TV, your player, and your receiver all at the same time and adjust the whole system's volume with just one button. It's designed to make everything feel like one system, not separate boxes.
That sounds amazing, like the universal remote dream finally coming true.
Yeah.
But what's the catch? Why isn't everyone just using this seamlessly all the time?
Well, there's the rub. The key thing is that all devices must support CEC for them to talk to each other properly. And even then, different manufacturers sometimes implement it slightly differently. Like you said, LG calls it Simple Link, Toshiba calls it CE Link. Sometimes the feature might only work perfectly between devices from the same brand, or you might run into weird quirks trying to get different brands to play nicely together. It's fantastic when it works, definitely a convenience, but yeah, it's not always the perfect plug-and-play utopia across every single piece of gear. Worth trying, though.
Gotcha. So we've covered these incredible distances, the control features, but for anyone thinking of investing in this, the bottom line really is, what kind of video and audio quality are we actually getting at the other end? Our sources list some serious specs: HDCP 2.2 and HDMI 2.0 compliance, HDR and Dolby Vision support, Full HD, UHD, and 3D at 4K 60 Hz, and even 7.1 DTS Master HD and Dolby True HD. What does all that jargon really mean for the viewing experience?
Right, those specs are basically your guarantee that HDBaseT isn't just extending a signal, it's extending the highest quality signal available today without cutting corners. Let's break a couple down. HDMI 2.0 compliance that ensures it supports the sheer bandwidth needed for resolutions up to 4K at 60 frames per second. That's smooth, high-res motion. Then crucially, HDCP 2.2 compliance. This is the digital copy protection standard. Think of it like the secret handshake your 4K Blu-ray player or streaming box needs to have with your TV to show protected content.
Ah, okay. So without that, you just get a blank screen trying to watch a new movie or Netflix in 4K.
Precisely. No handshake, no picture. It's absolutely non-negotiable for modern 4K content. So HDBaseT having this means you won't hit those frustrating black screens just because of copy protection. Then you mentioned HDR and Dolby Vision support. This is huge. It's not just about more pixels, it's about better pixels. HDR, high dynamic range, and Dolby Vision, these deliver massively improved contrast, much brighter highlights, deeper blacks, and a wider range of colors. It makes the image incredibly lifelike, much closer to what the human eye sees.
And the audio.
And for audio, 7.1 DTS Master HD and Dolby True HD means you're getting the full, uncompressed, Studio Master quality surround sound, that really immersive cinematic audio experience. These aren't just marketing bullet point, they're assurances that HDBaseT preserves every single bit of detail from your premium audio and video sources. No compromises.
With that kind of solid compatibility and, well, uncompromising quality, it really makes sense that HDBaseT is useful in so many different places. Who ultimately benefits the most from this tech?
The beauty really is its versatility. I mean, the source material specifically mentions these extenders are, quote, popularly used in media conferencing rooms, schools, government, cinema, and so on applications. But let's paint a picture. Imagine a modern school, right? They might have smart boards in classrooms, big projectors in the auditorium, digital signage screens in the hallways, all needing to display different things, maybe from a central media server. HDBaseT simplifies wiring that complex setup massively, often using network cables that might already be there.
Right, leverages existing infrastructure.
Exactly. It allows for consistent, high-quality video distribution everywhere, simplifies maintenance, future upgrades, or think about a small boutique cinema, or even a really serious home theater where the projector has to be mounted way at the back, far from the AV receiver and sources. HDBaseT gives you that clean, single-cable run for perfect video, audio, and even remote control of the projector without losing any of that cinematic quality. So it's basically for anyone who needs top-notch AV over distance without the nightmare of complex cabling or worrying about signal loss.
That makes total sense. Okay, now, if you're listening and you're convinced, maybe planning on using a system like this, our sources offer some really crucial KT6 install tips and HD-based do's and don'ts. It seems pretty clear that getting the installation right is absolutely key to actually getting that advertised performance. What are the most important takeaways for our listeners, the things to really watch out for to avoid common problems?
Yeah, this is absolutely where the rubber meets the road. Because HDBaseT, while incredibly powerful, is only as good as its weakest link. And often that weak link is the cable installation itself. First, it is absolutely vital to adhere to the TIA EIA 56B standards when terminating network cables. These are the industry standard wiring schemes, the precise order the little colored wires inside the cable need to go into the RJ45 connector.
Okay, so it's not just about shoving the wires in.
Not at all. Getting it wrong can cause impedance mismatches, which basically disrupt the very high-frequency signals that HDBaseT relies on. That leads to flickering, instability, or just complete signal loss. Every connection has to be perfect.
Right. What else?
Critically, the source strongly advises against using EZ45 connectors, those pass-through connectors, and also against using patch panels in the middle of a dedicated HD basic run.
Why is that? They seem convenient for networking.
They are convenient for standard networking, but they can introduce tiny imperfections or extra connection points in the signal path. For the extremely high bandwidth of uncompressed 4K HDBaseT signals, even microscopic flaws can degrade performance significantly. Remember, this isn't just regular internet data. It's a very demanding, uncompressed video stream. It's super sensitive. And for the cable itself, it's really strongly recommended to use shielded C66A with metal RJ45 connectors.
Shielded. We have shielded.
The shielding acts like a protective barrier around the wires inside the cable. It helps prevent random video flashes caused by electromagnetic interference, or EMI. EMI is basically electrical noise static from other devices around. Think Wi-Fi routers, fluorescent lights, power cables, even your phone. This noise can corrupt the sensitive video signal. The shielding blocks it. And the metal connectors help maintain that shield protection right to the very end of the cable. A good practical tip is always keep HDBaseT cables away from any equipment with an electromagnetic wave as much as possible. It's all about ensuring a clean, pristine signal path. This isn't just about getting it to work, it's about getting it to work perfectly, reliably.
Okay, so we've really unpacked how HD-based technology, using an extender like the WolfPack as an example, basically transforms that whole challenge of long-distance HDMI. It turns it into a streamlined, incredibly high-performance solution. From sending pristine 4K video over just a single common set cable with, well, virtually zero latency, to integrating power and complex bidirectional control signals, it's really clear HDBaseT is a powerhouse for modern AV setups. Whether you're a pro installer or just, an enthusiast setting up your own system at home.
Absolutely. And if we kind of zoom out and connect all this to the bigger picture, HDBaseT's core ability, delivering this incredibly high-res, uncompressed video, audio, power, and control all over a single ubiquitous Ethernet cable that really stands out. It's tech designed not just for today's demanding visuals, but it's also kind of future-proofed, ready for even higher resolutions down the road. Which raises an interesting question, doesn't it? As our visual demands, our tech demands just keep escalating, and we move towards even more immersive, data-heavy experiences. Could HDBaseT become like the foundational backbone for almost any advanced display system? Could it make traditional long-run HDMI cables seem, well, almost archaic, like a relic of the past? Think about how that could fundamentally change everything. From how we design dedicated home theaters, maybe equipment location becomes almost irrelevant to how massive stadiums or corporate campuses efficiently push vibrant, detailed information across hundreds, maybe thousands of displays. It's a technology that truly simplifies the complex, and definitely something to ponder as you plan your next big display.